Hi, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Casey.
Welcome to our farmstead, Cornucopia Orchards. Well, what do we have here? This arrived today. What's the present for me? Ah, bearing plates. Very expensive present. So one thing I've discovered is, how do you tell an engineer? Well, an engineer is somebody who uses the most expensive hardware possible. It's kind of like a builder with new tools. It's just big toys and it's a lot of fun, even if it's not really necessary.
Wow, that's a big excavator.
We're going to go and take an anchor point and measure that anchor point, and then everything else will based off of that, we'll see whether we're up or low. At each step of the way, we've tried to get closer to a building that is dimensionally correct, plumb for stability, and that will provide a flat, level base to build the first floor on. At this point, we regret that we did not do the foundation ourselves. Delivered months later than promised, at a higher cost than quoted, it did not match the plan specifications, and we now must take extra time to account for deviations from those specifications. We cannot change that we hired out the foundation. What we can do is build to account for the flaws in our concrete work and learn from the mistake. We now know that nothing is more important when hiring tradesmen than a solid, written contract. We also learned acutely that we are more capable than we had thought. I caught many potential costly mistakes in the foundation by being involved in the work. And in the end, what had seemed intimidating and complex turned out to be entirely within my grasp. So just finished up using the laser level and checking the heights all the way around before we put the rim joist and all the joists on. And what I've found is that the greatest difference is about 3/8. The main problem area is this beam here and that section as well. So yeah, both on this side. So that is going to be where I'm going to come through on the joists and just pre-notch out maybe 3/8 of an inch. But other than that, we are just about ready for rim joists to go up. Piggies this morning, they are up and at 'em. They're not hugging the heat lamp like they have been for the past since they're born, almost a week ago. They're up and moving a lot more. They're doing really nice. We lost the first two the first day of 8 of his litter, and this mama here, call her Bertha, and she's done a great job as a first-time mom. The third mama still hasn't had her babies, so we're waiting on those. She's definitely dropped. I expect them this week, more than likely. We're probably going to let the boar come in with this mama. She's the pig who lost her litter of 4, and there's primary reason for that is we need a spot to put all the pigs, because our excavator is going to be working, and he's going to take a trench line from way over there and cut across the field and then kind of up between the trees and then over, and that's going to be our septic pump location. So all that's going to be happening, and once that's done, then we're going to finish getting this field cleaned up. Today we're going to get started on our floor joists. So I've already kind of done the layout, marked everything off on the boards. It's an alternating pattern. We're not going to split the difference and kind of have the boards at a very slight angle. They're just going to go straight here, 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 here as you go back through the pattern. We've got the first boards cut as much as we're going to, so we're just cutting for blocking on the boards that are longer than they need to be. In this particular case, this first run is slightly more than 10 feet, and so I bought 12-foot boards and cut 13 out for blocks. So we're gonna get those nailed off and then keep going and hopefully get the floor joists up minus this back section, which is all 16-foot boards. It is a little different attaching the joists at the top of our house direct to the PT mud sill. My brother is cutting divots out of the rim joist to fit the board around the anchor plates so it can sit flat on the sill with no gap. My dad and I are crowning the boards and toe-nailing the rim joist to the plate as we go. The second rim joist had a substantial crown to it. With as many toenails as the spacing calls for, we were able to cinch it down tight to the sill and get a good butt joint by starting it at an angle and then nailing down the length. Start letting it down.
You're doing great. Keep it up.
We knew this one would be high.
Right.
So then the question is,
This one's high, this one is not.
You're so pretty catch. Catch it.
that is actually the level we want. That is flat.
Why didn't they want you to use the I-beam thing?
Come out a little bit here.
This is cheaper, and they just engineered it so you didn't have to.
Oh, it's actually cheaper now.
Yes, the I-beams are more expensive.
Wasn't a year
Maybe a
ago.
little more.
See if you can get it to where you want it on the end, and then Benny, can you put pressure here? Dad, you put pressure there.
There you go, they put pressure.
Oh,
Don't pull the pressure.
You want it just slightly out, wait. You want it out here, okay, put pressure down.
is that where you want it on the end, Dad?
Yeah, I think you wanted it out as far as this.
An
bit
eighth,
more
an eighth,
even.
or yeah, right around an eighth farther. Just to get what we can, right, for that wall.
All right, okay.
All right. Okay, there we go. Can we put a few more good ones in, just in case you're the one holding it down, not the nails?
Why do you have a phone pointed at us?
I'm recording. Dad not tell you that's part of the deal?
Make 7 up yours.
Yes.
You can cut that out.
Or leave it in, up to you.
Ben.
Let's finish these out, and then we'll go in and we'll start installing the blocking on that end too. And if you wanted the 2x10s through the middle section, We're gonna cut 13 inches of blocking off of all of them as well, and then just let the rest run. Wonder what you guys do with tags. So they bug me. The staples bug me. They always want to make the boards bump out, so I just take a screwdriver and pop them off. At the minimum, I'll pull the tag itself and then hammer that staple in if I can't get if it's too tight for the screwdriver to go under. But what do you guys do? In the past year and a half, I've caused injury to myself more frequently than in the rest of my adulthood combined. A badly sprained ankle, poorly timed when trying to finish prepping our last house for sale, took a year to fully heal. While raising the trusses on our shop, a winch slipped and took a bite out of my hand. And I've gotten poison oak to varying degrees roughly monthly. The list goes on. Given my track record, I've wondered, is it really wise to tempt fate with this house build? I just don't dwell on it. Injuries happen to people less clumsy than myself all the time. I do try to not repeat the same injury over. My sprain was caused by working too quickly to be safe. Poison oak, when it happens now, is because I forget to follow our prevention routine. The winch injury could have been prevented with a little better communication with the person on the other side of the winch. This rim joist had significant cupping on one end, and I just wanted to cinch it in to the other joist where they met at a corner. The right tool would have been some structural screws. Nails just don't grab as well. I opted for a little extra violence to try to solve the issue instead of going up to the shop for supplies. I'd say I nailed it. So after my moment of Deadpool, we've got blocking ready to start happening on the bottom here, and the way that we did our on-center spacing is the first board started at 3/4 and 16 inches. So 16 inches minus 3/4, and that's so that at 16 and then 32 and then 48 and so forth, we would be on centered. And wherever a sheathing splits that difference, then it's going to have half and half sort of grab for each. So that means the first block is also going to be different than the rest of them. We're overlapping, so the two pieces are going to fit into there. One coming this way, one going that way, and the remainder of the blocks should be at around 13 inches. And those are all cut off of the extras on the ends on these, and then the remainder we're just allowing to run past. Oddly enough, you would think they would require more, but blocking only takes 2 nails. I'm gonna do 3. Why? I don't know. Seems like the right number.
And they want you to toenail the blocking?
I don't remember if they mentioned toenails. I think that in some cases, and I think this wall is specifically, it's hurricane tied. So I'll have to go back and put hurricane ties along here.
Down?
Correct. Yes. To tie this into the plate.
What about the next one?
That one I don't think so. Look at the size difference on this board.
Measure them.
It says 2 by 10 on it.
You know, these are aged. That's going to be a real interesting. I think that they've just already shrunk what they're going to shrink, and these new ones haven't. Holy crap! That's a 9 7/16 versus 9 1/8. So I'm just gonna put. It barely fits, but it does fit. I'll put one on the bottom and one in the middle. Watch your fingers. There, that sucked in that other one. Are we still over the wall?
Right there.
Watch me finger. I wasn't. Someone's got to.
Thinking, you have 5,000 little posts coming up. Why didn't you just pour a stem wall?
That's what it's called for.
Oh, it did.
Yep.
The stem wall. No,
For that.
the fingers.
The stem wall, the pony wall that's there was
Right.
to fix the fact that the
Right.
guy poured it too small. Lord Dinglehopper. What's happening here? Am I nailing? Is that what I'm hearing?
We don't know.
Oh, yeah, you can nail that one. You want to nail this one or no?
Outside guy.
You want me to nail the outside?
This one says go with you.
Huh? Yes.
This one should be over here.
Yes.
Here's a knife.
Why did you make my part there?
Well, you know, I like to give the viewers what they want to see. So.
So we got the first of our yellow squash in from the garden, and this is one of our favorite things about summer. So we really wanted to share a recipe with you guys that uses the yellow squash. Now the first squash is kind of tiny, so we're mixing some green beans in this time. But this is a super simple recipe that you can do with two of the easiest things to grow in any garden. So all you do is chop up the yellow squash and the green beans, throw them in a pot, and then you just let them simmer for a while until they're what my mother always called fork tender. So you can put a fork into them. They're not mushy, but you don't have to work too hard to do it. And so what we'll do is just throw all of these into the pot. You can do it with a simple burner like we've been doing since we don't have a full kitchen right now. Or, you know, if it's about a saucepan this size, you're going to pour in about a cup of water, and you're just going to put it on a low simmer and let it cook for a while, covered until they're tender. All right, so these are about right. See how it's easy to grab them, but they aren't mushy. And so I added about 2 tablespoons of butter, and then I just add a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt, whatever your family's tastes are. And then we let the butter melt, which takes a little bit of time. And then the next thing that we add, you can do this while the butter's not quite melted, it's about a 1/4 cup of half and half. And once you let that cook for a little while, it's just why you don't want the squash too done to begin with. It makes everything just rich and creamy and delicious. It's sort of like, you know, really great chicken soup. So just a minute or 2 of simmering after the cream and the butter is added in, and it's done. So 15 minutes total from prep to eating, and it is delicious, buttery, not necessarily good for you, but very tasty. Best part of summer.
about done with the floor joists. We've got the blocking 2/3 done. And the biggest challenge with this third section, what's been different for us, is that we've had 5 or 6 of these doubled up joists, these sister joists going the full length, either underneath a bearing wall going parallel with the floor above, or in this particular case, because we're omitting one joist due to there being a toilet cut out. Sometimes you can get away with putting the toilet in and not doing a cutout. It just makes it a whole lot easier to work with that space if you have it.
You have a lot of them in.
That's true. I can probably nail as well.
What will be easier for you?
Good thing I'm not a big fat guy and these guys are attached on the end.
One end.
This one's attached, so try to put my weight on there.
I think you have to see it because I can't see it. So.
If you're real close. You just want to get in between the two boards and then whatever lane you can. I'll try and get this. You're right there. Up just a hair though. Thanks so much for watching.
See you next time.